We are, what is it, 48 hours from CGI now. Smooth sailing every day.
Every day is a blessing, mate, in the promoting world.
When did you first start realizing that Gable was probably not going to compete?
I mean, I had my doubts kind of the whole time. Like, I really should have put more thought into the backup plan. Obviously, the dude that beat him, I remember thinking, like, I want to reach out to the dude that beat him very early, because Gable is quite a hard man to reach. Like, he's quite non-responsive and stuff. And we took a lot of care to go fly to him to do those stupid photos and get something cooking. We wanted to do the Gable match because, like, the Gabby match transcends jiu-jitsu and lures people into watching the real jiu-jitsu, and hopefully they stay and pay attention to more of the real jiu-jitsu stuff. So Gable was the person I thought we could do that with. But then Gable really put no effort. I think he collaborated on 3 posts, of which the sad little bastard has since removed himself.
You really haven't made that.
There's nothing more pathetic as a human being than the removal of the collaborator post. And I don't know if people know this, because you might also not be a coward, but it sends a notification.
I do know that.
But yeah, basically we went over to see him. Then after that he put no effort in. Obviously we paid Laranja, the artist of a man. We have to put in a lot of effort to promote. Like, even he came prepared for the Gabby interview, which helped boom CGI. So we were like, oh well, Gable's being difficult, we won't be able to do the sit down presser, so we were like, we'll orchestrate with Laranja a video crafting, sort of trying to promote this match, because it wasn't getting as much attention as the Gabby one. I don't think many matches would. But when Gable didn't put any effort into promoting, he didn't share a single ticket link, was when I was really like thinking of backups. And again, that's why in retrospect we should have gone with Wyatt Hendrickson. I think that would have been more funny. But we did sign Gable Steveson to a contract prior to him losing, which is obviously, you should always wait for someone to lose something before you negotiate with them.
Do you think he never just really took the whole situation seriously? Do you think he signed up then kind of regretted it because he wanted to move into MMA? Why do you think he was perhaps reluctant to promote the event before he eventually pulled out?
What's that quote? Never attribute to malice that which can adequately be explained by stupidity. I think that therein lies the problem. I will say that his management did try to book him for a dirty boxing match 2 days before the event, which really started to concern me, that they thought that was a great idea and really showed the value they had for our event. But again, held out hope that he would be a good human being and a man of his word, because like turf toe, obviously turf toe is going to suck, especially in wrestling. Like, it'd be very difficult to compete under those conditions, but at the end of the day it's grappling. At the end of the day, no one expected Gable to win. You know, I kind of all felt like we knew what was going to happen there. Like, I could have leg locked him at any moment. Like, when we'd spoke about the match previous, we'd spoken about it going in there with a friendly, fun, grow the sport sort of energy, not just like, there was no intent to submit this man in 15 seconds, nor was there any intent from his end to break my spine. But do I think he ever really intended to do the match? Yes. He did change management from the beginning of the match, of the signing, like, to later. So I believe he went from Ophir to Abraham. Yeah. So I don't. That's a problem too. Is like, if someone switches managements, like after a contract's been signed, it's like, oh well, the deal's been done by the previous manager. The new manager doesn't understand. When he booked the LFA fight 2 weeks after, that's truly when I was deeply concerned. And then when he just stopped replying me to altogether, like, usually he'd be a bit slow on the response, but then he just stopped replying to me altogether, and I started to be like, yo, that's fucking like person to person, you know what I mean? Obviously I'm your opponent, I can understand you're not wanting to talk to your opponent, but when you just stop replying to someone,
especially if they're the promoter of the event as well,
have some fucking human decency and warn me, like, give me an idea. I mean, typically speaking, as a competitor, you would not really message your promoter to say, hey, maybe I can't do it, I'm going to go to hospital. Like, he started contacting Seth saying like he's going to hospital about turf toe and getting scans and shit, and it's like, bro, you're an Olympic gold medalist. Are you competing or are you not competing? You know this.
Speaking of human decency, another thing that sort of added to the whole situation was your friend Gordon posting about it. Like, seemed like he had insider knowledge of the situation, or at least alluded to the fact that he did. Just your general reaction to that and how that adds to the whole sort of mess that Gable pulled out is.
Well, I mean, considering he's just opened a gym and spent $1.2 million on that, and he's not getting a lot of love, and he looks like a fat slob of a human being these days, and his competition aspirations are obviously already accomplished and over, and he's now back to teaching private lessons. He's probably just interjecting himself into a situation. Generally, for better or worse, he'd rather people talking about him than not talking about him. So, like, what he posted, if true, is fucking, as your boss would say, fucking illegal.
My boss, or Dana?
The boss of bosses, yes. I mean, I would absolutely hope that he would not do that, you know, but that he would get... I mean, obviously there would be speculation that if you were to piss the UFC off enough, that they will be very petty about how they deal with competitive events. And would it shock me? Am I accusing them of it? No, but would it shock or surprise me that they would sabotage my main event if given the power to do so, and given Gable's aspirations to fight in the UFC, and considering he has a LFA fight pass fight 2 weeks after, the magically appearing and disappearing turf toe does add very many questions. Yeah. But luckily, Chael Sonnen does whatever the fuck he wants.
And so we're on to the gangster Chael. Talk to me about finding a replacement, right? Obviously I was here at the house, and I know we were going through a lot of names, and I think it was like 8 days out. It's pretty hard to find someone who would step up. Maybe talk about some of the names you considered and how it ended up being Chael.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, like, I would really hope that this is a legitimate injury and that it's struck up 7 days out, because, like, this is a single event per year. We're not like UFC, as you tell me, putting on shitty broadcasts every week, trying to fill a card with fucking whoever's willing to take a 10 and 10 contender series deal, you know? Obviously massive pay there, but in terms of other credible opponents, there were really few and far between. And when it comes to trying to sell tickets and captivate an audience outside of jiu-jitsu, like the jiu-jitsu portion of the event with the real jiu-jitsu athletes, rock solid. It'll be indisputable afterwards that this format is the most entertaining way to watch grappling, and that is, it's like watching an interview with you, you know, like, it's peak entertainment, mate. It's pinnacle of journalism. So
people love it.
From the sports-based perspective, where
twice award-nominated Journalist of the Year, twice. Not this year. Those days are behind me, but at one point I was considered quite good.
Are they like the Razzies to the Oscars?
No, people care about them.
Okay, yeah.
Thanks, mate.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, there were no really interesting, credible opponents. Like, Wyatt Hendrickson would have been perfect. He would have filled the void, given that he just smashed Gable Steveson. But yeah, I mean, like, there were some people, I can't really name names, they would rather remain anonymous, but that could have been some really big game changers. Every single UFC athlete, despite the contract they don't know how to read, have to really get approval. And I mean, like, whether it's in writing or not, whatever they say, whatever they think they can do, at the end of the day, the UFC have enough power. So, like, there were a few UFC guys wanting the match and stuff, saying I'd step in, but really, like, hey, unfortunately, you have to kiss the ring to get in, and if the ring holder does not like you, then he's not going to allow you to be a part of my show. Considering they wouldn't let UFC BJJ signed athletes who are involved in the sport do the event, why on earth would they let their fighters do it, you know?
Yeah. So, with Chael, how do we feel about that matchup? How does it make you feel about the event, and how appreciative are you to Chael for stepping in?
Yeah, obviously super appreciative to Chael. Chael supported me early days at Submission Underground, another event that Fight Pass allegedly fucked over, but Submission Underground was a game changer, because fuck that helicopter, but Submission Underground was a game changer. I believe their first ever main event was Jon Jones, Dan Henderson, so he wrote the recipe that I believe the Fight Pass grappling events tried to steal, and it was the most obvious solution, was to secure MMA names to do grappling events, again, to trick the regular MMA going public. Obviously, some of the most intelligent, well-read, articulate members of society into watching grappling. And Submission Underground paved the way there, and he gave me opportunities back in the day, and I always supported him. And I remember I even competed for him at peak beginning of COVID against Vinny Margalesh in a barn, hidden from the governor who told Chael Sonnen not to do it. So it's like, that's what I respect about Chael, is Chael will do whatever the fuck Chael wants to do. I firmly believe that if anyone at the UFC, Dana White included, said, hey, do not do this, Chael will be like, I will do whatever the fuck I want to do. So I see it as a mate backing a mate. You know, like, Chael obviously has benefits to doing this, but really, at the end of the day, he's taken one for the team, he's taken one for the event, and he's helping the sport of jiu-jitsu.
And he's also repping wrestling, I guess, considering Gable just pulled out.
Yeah, someone has to fly the wrestling flag, because as it stands, those flags are pride flags, in my opinion.
And I don't think Gable and Gordon love that. That's actually a casting aspersions. I don't know Gable's thoughts on the homosexual community, but...
Yeah, I mean, obviously, your biggest inspiration in journalism would be MMA Guru, and if the allegations he made against Jon Jones are correct, and there are many, and that's who Gable sees as his idol, and he also spends time with Cuckzilla, I should have known better than to trust a man like that, you know? Again, like Hanada Laranja warned me about the allure and disappearing act of light-skinned men, and I think he's fit the bill quite credibly.
Is this still your retirement match?
I don't know. I'll compete as long as CJI needs me to compete, you know, like as an unaccomplished grappler, no world titles, but able to move the needle and move the Marek Health needle into my own cheeks. Yeah, I will say it's not necessarily the end, you know, like obviously you've had many MacLife calls from Lee where he said, listen mate, this might be the end for you in terms of employment at the company, but you persevere, you push on, because MMA journalism world needs you, and I respect that.
I'm sure he's very proud of me for being at this house rather than, you know, at my own doing work right now. I'm sure there's like a level of respect there from him. At 6
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously you sacrificed the Contender Series for this, right?
I'm not putting that in.
You sacrificed that 10 and 10 exploitation in which guys think they've won the lottery, but I will say 10 and 10, if you lose your UFC debut, CJI pays 10,002.
Does it still?
We not only outpay the WNBA, we outpay the UFC Contender Series as well.
Look at you, man, just giving back to the sport that you love so much, that you can't wait to get away from.
Giving back to the sport that I've taken so much from, you know, balance the book.
All right, I think we've covered most of it. I mean, are you still looking forward to faking your own death after this and hiding?
Yeah, very much so. Very, very much so.
Why fake it?
Fake it till you make it, you know?
All right. Thanks for the interview. It took me fucking 5 days to get out of you. Like everyone else just wants their little piece.
That's all I've got, a little piece.